Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. Thanks so much for the Patreons that I do have that help support this channel. Much appreciated. And as a Patreon, you have access to exclusive Patreon reviews. I try to do 1 or 2 a month. And there's well over 40 Patreon-only reviews in the archives. So for little as $1 a month, you can have access to those. But remember, folks, it's just whiskey. And today we're going to be talking about, although I'm a little late to the party, yet another Talisker 8. This is a Diageo special release from 2020. And they call it natural cask strength, but there's no mention whether anything is colored or non-chill filtered. I would tend to believe that there's not much coloring, if any, in this, but who knows. And this one here comes in at a whopping 57.9% ABV, 8 years old, and it is finished in pot still Caribbean rum casks. They don't say how long the finish is, but this is going to be yet another good Talisker review. And also, too, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Paul Di'Anno, who was the original lead singer of Iron Maiden. And he sang on the first 2 albums. The first self-titled album that came out in 1980, and then the great album Killers, of which this is the cover artwork for Killers, which came out in 1981. 2 phenomenal, ass-kicking, great jamming, great songwriting, great albums. And Paul Di'Anno was 66 years old. He passed away last week. And so hats off to you, Paul, wherever you are. He lived a real wild ride of a life for sure. But let's get on with the review, shall we? And then after, too, I'm going to rate all of the Diageo Talisker special releases that I've had. I'm still on the hunt, which I think is the first one. I'm still on the hunt for the Talisker 8, which came out in 2018, Diageo special release, and that was all first fill ex-bourbon. It's really only available, on auctions, things like that. But if there's anybody that lives within a 50 or 60 or 70 mile radius from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and you want to swap another Talisker special release for one of those, get in touch with me, and then we can private message and that whole thing. But I really want to try that. And while we're on Talisker and Diageo, as we speak, Diageo has submitted plans on the island of Skye, sorry, on the island of Skye, to demolish the Talisker Distillery, which is quite old, hundreds of years old, and they're going to modernize the whole thing. That hasn't happened yet, but they have submitted plans, and it is in the planning process. I'm guessing it's probably going to happen. Will that change how Talisker is distilled? Time will tell. All right, let's go back to the review of this 2020 Talisker 8-year-old, for the first time finished in pot still Caribbean rum casks. Okay, on the nose, you're getting a little bit of that youthful peat that I get in some of the Torrevegs. Okay, which is cool. I love Torreveg. Getting butterscotch and rich caramel. I mean, really rich caramel. And some of that molasses puff candy. It comes out about this time of year in the fall. Got a little bit of baking soda in it, but that molasses puff candy. And maybe there's also a little bit of, there's a richness on the nose, but maybe a little bit of sourness as well. All right, on the palate. Oh my God, this is so delicious, so quaffable. It's rich, it's syrupy. It's got the classic pepper, oak spice. It's got the sweetness and tanginess. The tanginess like a grape taffy. It's got that kind of tanginess to it. Tropical fruits are there. There's also a bit of yin and yang with some astringency, some bitterness, which totally complement this. One more time for the finish. This is just so delicious, so quaffable. If you're a Talisker fanboy, and if you can find these, they are still available at some overseas retailers, and they go for about 90 pounds, so about $100, 88 to 89 pounds, so roughly around $100 US for this. So the finish has got the sweetness to it, that pepperiness, the oak spice. I would say the finish is a medium plus. Very quaffable. There's quite a few reviews you can find online about this, and some have some mixed reviews. And there is one channel that seems whatever they rate something at, I can sometimes be the polar opposite of. And there's one Whiskey Tube channel that one of the fellas, no names being mentioned, did not like this at all. And there's other things too that they've rated like extremely high, which I found very disappointing. So it's all about different palates. So I'm just conveying my experience with this. I really enjoy this. This is a solid 8 out of 10. The newest Talisker 8 Title Churn, that's a 9 out of 10. As far as special releases, still I would say this year's is my favorite. And as far as all the other ones, they've had another 8-year-old. I have them all right here. They had another 8-year-old. Here's the tube for it. This one was okay. Very new makey kind of a spirit. This was the 2021. I did like it. I still have some in a bottle. And then of course they have the 11-year-old, which I like more than the 2021 8-year-old. And so this 11-year-old was the 2022. This is really nice too. And then of course there's the 15-year-old, which is in a league of its own, really. And this was the 2019. I've reviewed all of these, so check out all these things. But so far, the new Talisker 8 Title Churn is my favorite. This one here is probably my second favorite, the one I'm reviewing right now, the 2020. And again, the Talisker 15 would probably be second, but it's in a league of its own. I mean, this is just something really special. This is a true example of what you're going to get between the 10-year-old and the 18-year-old, but it's just really nice. So yeah, and again, if anybody comes across and knows that has an extra special release from 2018 8-year-old, get in touch with me and maybe we can do some kind of swap if you're within a reasonable driving distance. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. I've been on a Talisker kick lately. It's pretty much all I've been drinking the last couple of weeks. Anyway, 8 out of 10. A little late to the party, but better late than never. Hats off to you all, and take care, folks. And listen to early Iron Maiden.